Hi, I'm Daksha, and I'll give a short demo of how this task is currently working. So, this is a short demo where basically I'm trying to create a new task called test demo and then save it in the Asana app. So, the different steps that happen here are the agent logs into the Asana website. It either uses cookie to see if if it's already been logged in, or gets the credentials, that is username and password, from the .env file present. It then navigates to open the Asana website. It creates a task as asked by the user called task demo, as we can see here. And it fills whatever required details that needs to be filled if it's doing some other task. And it confirms that it's saved. It refreshes the task list to make sure that the task that was asked for is saved. And once it confirms that, it says that task is complete and ends the process, terminating the process. Yes. So, a little more on the technical side of things. So this was like a brief overview of what's happening, different stepwise. A little more technical, as asked for the workflow. So, so we have different. Just let me move these. So we have different agents that are doing. We're using browser queues to for browser automation, and we're using LLMs to make sure that the steps, to ensure that the states that are captured are different, and to determine what the next tasks should be. So a little more on the workflow steps. It's going to be like so there's a controller which basically is spinning up the playwright, opens the Chromium, and restores any saved, like in our case, the Asana session state, so that the login can be skipped if the cookies exist. Otherwise, it just picks up the credentials from the .env file. Then the state detector sort of runs the, here we have the state detector. It sort of runs the JavaScript in the page to collect, the DOM snapshots, and so that the system can track the workspace and, uh, once the workspace finishes loading. And the element annotator over here, it takes the screenshot. It finds every interactive element that is present on the on the snapshot. It could be buttons, it could be buttons like inputs, menus, anything, any query, via bounding boxes. It draws those red bounding boxes that we see in the demo, and builds an element registry, which is again, keyed by key ID value pairs. Now that screenshot, the DOM summary, and the current URL in the element registry are then sent to the AI navigator. So we have the AI navigator here. So it uses the LLMs to make any decisions. We are using Olama for integrating, open source models, and I'm using the Lava model for this to study the screenshots. But I'd also configured Gemini, and you can configure any LLM that you typically want. I use Lava because it's open source. It does not require any keys, and it gave a pretty good performance. I can just run it locally, and of course, it's free to use as well. So then it uses these LLMs to decide the next decision. For example, take element ID 3, or click the task button, whatever. Now the decision is executed by browser actions. So which basically is performing things like clicking a button, or typing something, or scrolling the page, or using the elements ID if the element is invisible yet on the page or whatever. And after each action, the state detector compares the DOM hashes sort of thing. Like example, is the new task appeared or not, and sort of understands the state changes that have been captured in the screenshots. So we save all of this in the metadata. So here you have like, so we have the screenshot saved, we have the metadata where we are writing how each screenshot um, that the system captures is saved, and what is the reason, like just everything that's happening in the background. It sort of creates a JSON for this whole workflow as well, and it then saves these states like this. So then after each action, the state detector, like what I said, like it just compares to see if the state changes have happened, which is what we are capturing in this workflow. Then so basically the LLM keeps planning the steps, like example, open the task form, etc., until it determines that the task is finished. It, as I mentioned, it does refresh the page to see that if the task that it, in our case, create a new task called demo 11, whatever, is saved or not. And it sees that if it's saved, then it's like, okay, we are successfully done, and it just ends the task automation and closes the browser. Thank you.